Hey everybody, Dave Sullivan here. We're doing a It Works man call. How men are being successful with It Works Global. And I got a few of my buddies here tonight. Let's go with this. Why not? I hear music. Sounds good. Okay, so we got first off, we have. Sorry, let me check here.
Going from bankruptcy to six figures a month to changing other.
Okay, sorry, technical difficulty. Okay, first off, we got, let's see here. Let's start with you, Jeremy. Why don't you just give us a real quick lowdown? We got Jeremy Good here. He's a local boy from Texas. He's been in the business for a little bit here. So you wanted to share with us your rank in the business and how long you've been around, and just a real quick couple minute story of your story.
Sure. So thanks for having me on, Dave. So yeah, I'm an executive with It Works Global. Been going on, gosh, I think we're on about 7 months right now. So just got back from conference this last month in February, which was absolutely phenomenal. I got to meet everybody in person there. But yeah, so kind of how I joined the business. My wife was introduced to it at her salon. And she tried one of the products, one of the It Works products, hair, skin, and nails. Absolutely loved it. Worked phenomenally well for her. And so the next time, about a month later, we went back in and talked to our hairdresser there, and she just went over what the business was about. And me as a business guy, I'm a corporate guy. I work for a Fortune 300 company, and I spend my life in suits and ties. But I immediately saw the business opportunity as just something that was very attainable, something that I could do. Really got excited about it, especially with the success that my wife had had with her first try of the product. And so yeah, got some more information about it. Really started digging into the compensation plan. I'm sort of analytical about that, but the more I looked at it, the better I felt about it, and just saw myself being part of it. And you know, I mean, I've got a big income to replace, right? But it's something that I want to do. It's something that I want to go full time with. I mean, really, we probably played around with it for the first 6 months or so. Didn't spend a ton of time on it, did pretty good, but now for this last month we've been really hitting it hard, and starting to blow up on us. So I'm really excited about what the future is and what we can accomplish.
That's awesome, man. I think that's cool. Yeah, I think you guys have a really cool story. I met you in Tampa at the conference, and I think we just really connected. I think I feel like we're sort of the same type of personality. So, but yeah, I think that's cool, man. Thanks for sharing your story and how you got started. Why don't we jump over to Julio? Julio is my boy from California, representing the 831. And why don't you just share your story, bud? I know you guys got a cool thing going over there in Cali, and yeah, just take it away, man.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, thanks. Yeah, so my name's Julio. I'm from Santa Cruz, California, and I got involved with It Works in May of 2015. And at first, my wife, Jillian, came up to me and said, "Hey, I heard about this really cool company. It sounds like there's a lot of opportunity, and I want to get started with it." And I was like, "All right." And I trust her, and she has a good sense of judgment, so I was trying to be supportive of it, and I had no idea what it was. I work in mental health and substance abuse service industries, and that was like totally not what I was at all familiar with. But I figured, all right, whatever, think outside the box, give it a shot, we'll see what happens. And first couple months, I still wasn't really sold on it. I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know, but like the products are cool. I actually did like them. I was taking greens and using some other stuff. And I remember one day, Jillian asked me, she said, "Hey, babe, what's your checking account number?" I'm like, "Why do you want my checking account number?" And she's like, "'Cause I got to put commissions in your account." And I'm like, "Really?" And then it just got real for me. You know what I mean? Because we're like, we're basically getting by, and anything helps. $50 buys diapers for a month. You know what I mean? And that's like 2 wraps. And I didn't look at it like that before, but now I do. So for me, it was super cool because I saw that there was a legitimate, positive value from being involved with It Works. So, you know, fast forward, I started taking it more seriously, and, you know, I've been doing my best to be supportive of Jillian with it, and also, you know, work myself in the business. And yeah, so I started up in May 2015. Fast forward up to current, it's actually almost been a year now. I am Root Rank, the company, which is cool, and I'm excited about where things are going. You know, us personally, we're working families. You know, what made the biggest difference for me is I remember before Jillian would work full time, I would work full time. I'd get home from work and she would go to work, and it'd be like, all right, hi, bye, and we were trying to provide for our kids, you know, and we still are. But now she's able to be a stay-at-home mom. She was able to scale back from being full-time to part-time to stay-at-home mom. So it's like, even just like the little things, like being able to say goodnight to each other and like having quality time with each other, it's the little things that count. That's what for me has made the biggest difference in my life and in our family's life, more importantly, with It Works.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's about it.
That's awesome, dude. I know you guys are doing good things over there, and I think you made a good point about really like the freedom it brings to your family.
Yeah,
you mentioned quality time, you know, and so, you know, if you're working part time and you can substitute that working from home, it's a no-brainer, you know. So, thanks for sharing, bud. And we'll jump over to Robert here, Robert Stefani. Why don't you give us a couple minutes of your story and of It Works, and how long you've been in the business, and your rank. Why don't you just take it away, Robert?
Okay. My rank is I'm Diamond, and I've been in the business for about a year and a half or so. My wife got in the business with your wife. They're partners in the business, and I was a supportive husband all along the way. And I was at conference, and I jumped on board right after conference saying I want to get involved, and I actually just supported and didn't really do a whole lot in the business for my leg. And last year, we decided, you know what, I'm going to do this business. We're going to do this business, and built it the Diamond. We got in the business for a different reason. I'm in a different place in life than you guys are, because I'm the senior guy. I'm 56 years old, and I have a good job. However, a few years back, when the market in California, that's my dog in the background, when the market in California, the real estate market just went bad, we got hurt financially. We ended up having to short sell our home. Even though I had a great job, we struggled. And like some of you out there, we lived month to month, even though I had a great job. And so when this business came along, that $500 was, wow, if we can make an extra $500, that would really help us to pay off the debt that we accumulated because of the market, the real estate market that we had to short sell. But also, maybe we can start saving for a house or whatever it may be. And as the business grew, our dreams grew. We were able to get out of debt and buy a house and build a home. And now our dreams have changed a whole different way. We want to build the business. Yes, we want to build the business to a whole nother level. No pun intended. But we want to build the business to help people like who we were, where we were at, to get to the Diamond and above level. I mean, Julio, I love your story. It's an awesome story. Jeremy, I love your story because that's what we're all about. We all have different stories, but we all have the same purpose, and we want to get to a place to get ourselves out of debt, but also to help others along the way. This business just motivates me for that.
That's awesome. I think that's cool. I think you made a good point too about you mentioned you were a supportive husband. You played a really active role in your team, and you did a pretty amazing thing. What can you tell us about your trip to how you got to Diamond, just really quickly?
I don't know how much I can tell. I will say this: like I said, we didn't do a whole lot in the business under my leg, but I got into Ruby, and I made the Ruby for a few months, and then I went backwards down to executive. And I stayed executive for almost a year, to be honest with you, because I stayed in the supportive role to support Amber and support my wife, Dion, and to support you, whatever. But we didn't really do anything in my business. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, we're going to build this business, and we're going to build it, and we're going to do it. And so if I think what you're asking me is how basically a a non a ruby who didn't maintain to get to diamond. So basically, is that what you're asking me, Dave?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. So we built the business from, we'll say, from executive to diamond in 1 month, literally 30 days.
Yeah.
So I think we sponsored about 20 people and got the volume, got the customers, and it's the crazy thing about it was I don't think I've ever been so pushing so hard yet so excited at the same time. Like every day I came home like, oh, I got a customer, or I got a potential LC or a potential DT, and you know, let's I have a goal. Let's how many times can we fast start, you know, or not fast start, but steps to success. And so if we can do 4 steps to success this month, we can get the diamond. And so it was pretty crazy, but it was the most exciting thing that we've done since I've been in the business.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty awesome. You worked really hard and you really killed it that month. That was crazy. And so yeah, thanks for sharing your story. I appreciate you contributing here tonight. And I'll just share my quick story. Really, I think there's probably like 3 types of people that are listening to the call right now. There's husbands that are actively distributors with It Works already. I think there's there's the skeptical men that are out there, like I was, whose wives dragged them into this or made them watch this. And there's the supportive husbands that are just, you know, helping out and doing what they can. And so my story is probably like a lot of guys. Basically, we started 2.5 years ago. My wife actually joined on my birthday. I was actually away on a hunting trip. And I came home and she's like, oh, look what we did. And I was like, all right, cool, I guess. And like I said, I was the skeptic. And so I looked into it and I looked up the products and I did all the background work and checked into it and was watching YouTubes on like how everything worked and how the business worked. And I'm a little bit like Jeremy, like I said earlier. I wanted the details. And so basically we were living kind of like what Robert said, we were living paycheck to paycheck. And I had a good job too. And we lived in California at the time, and we had all this cool stuff, but we're still living paycheck to paycheck. And you know, we had like $20,000 in car loans. Both of us had a car we were paying off. We had like $20,000 in credit card debt. We like accumulated after 6 years of marriage, and we're like, we just joined just to make $500 a month. Like if we could do that, like that would. Like I could pay off the credit cards in like 3.3 years, and it would be awesome. And we could finally like get rid of them, you know, and like pay for like a vacation or something instead of throwing it on the credit card again. So that was like Amber's goal and my goal when we first started, and it's grown into a lot more. But that's what really like I think that set me up, and set us up for success was like we just had that goal of making $500. Like that'll just change your lives. And so the first month we did that, and we kept doing it every single month. And so my wife has built herself and Robert's wife to Presidential Diamond in what was it, like a couple years, 2 years. And so they're doing really awesome. And so I have taken the role of a supportive husband, but I also work the business as much as I can. I still work full time, but my ultimate goal is to do It Works full time. So it's been an awesome ride, and it's come to the point where really I think our goal, and I think Robert's goal too, is what he sort of touched on, is helping other people at this point. Like, you know, if I can only be successful if I help other guys be successful. And so it's like it's like a big team, you know. And so I've always played sports my whole life, and so I really enjoy that aspect of it. But so that's my little story in a nutshell. But why don't we just jump back over to Jeremy? Give us a few minutes, and why don't you just share with us, Jeremy, about your perspective and I don't know, any advice you want to give to the guys that are listening tonight that you think would be helpful from your point of view. So take it away.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, I've just got 3 things I wanted to talk about. And just kind of what's helped me and things that I've been successful with so far and things that continue to help out with the success in my role. So the first is I just kind of had to get over myself, right? And I've heard a couple people talk about this, but it really is true. It's, being awkward or not having the confidence to go out there and get in the conversations and meet people and especially as a guy, right? Because it's a lot of women are doing this business, and the majority are women that are doing this business. But I mean, being able to get over that and just being like confident that as a guy that I can do this, that I can have the conversations with whoever I need to and really promote the products, because I believe in them. I've used them. I've had really good results with them. So it's not. It really is about sharing. And sharing the success that I've seen with it, and helping other people to see the same thing. Second thing is really not making sure I don't disqualify myself from conversations. And what I mean by that is like I try and take every opportunity that I possibly can to talk about the business. So whether that's at the grocery store or whether that's with Blitz cards when we're paying the bill at the restaurant, talking to coworkers. I really try and make sure that I don't disqualify myself from a conversation just because of that I'm a guy. Even to the point of, I guarantee you, if you go up to a woman that has some really nice shoes, right, and you can tell they love their shoes, if you go into her, you see her at the grocery store and go, those are some awesome shoes, you have her attention. I promise you, you have her attention, because you're probably the first guy or maybe one of 5 that's ever told her that in her entire life. So once you start that conversation, then you can kind of, talk about, hey, my wife's doing this awesome business. You should check this out. And I'll get her over to my wife, and she can continue the conversation. But yeah, just don't ever use every opportunity basically you have. And then the third thing I have is just to fail as often as possible. And it's part of it. It's part of life. A big part of success is failure, and the more that I can fail, and the more that I can put myself in these situations, right, where I may not be comfortable, then I find that confidence, and I find the way that I can have the conversation successfully. And so my goal, honestly, is to fail as big and as much and as often as I possibly can, because eventually it starts working and it starts clicking, and I've I even found that today. I had a conversation last night with one of the people I work with, or yesterday, and I came away with it going, that I could have done better. So I went back today, and my temptation was to get her to talk to my wife, or to talk to one of the other diamonds out there, right? But I mean, you know what? I need to learn how to do this on my own, because if I can double what my wife's doing out there, then we can have double the business than if it was just her doing this. And again, I do want to do this full time. So yeah, those are the 3 things: just getting over myself, making sure that I don't disqualify myself from conversations, and then failing as often as possible.
Yeah, I think you made some good points there, bud. And you talk about complimenting people and to get their attention. It totally works. Like, you could just talk to anyone if you start out with a compliment and just be genuine about it. But yeah, dude, thanks for sharing your information. And I think people are going to benefit from that, because really, like, just seeing people and seeing real stories about people, and I think it helps so much. But thanks, bud. Why don't we jump over? Robert, you want to give us a couple minutes of share your advice for someone who's thinking about it works, maybe as a business or a supportive husband. What are your thoughts?
Okay. One of the things that I do, if I can give you a piece of advice from the man's perspective, I do talk to a lot of women, probably more women than men. At the same time, at first it was really awkward. I was almost afraid to, because I didn't want them to think I was some old guy hitting on them, which would have been weird. And so so I used to use the phrase, hey, I want to share with you, or I'd go into a store and I was buying something and the person helped me. I go, a lot of people like coupons. My wife and my daughter have a business, and I'd give them a Blitz card, and here's one of the coupons. I'd start off that way, and then I'd explain the business as my wife and my daughters. And I use that a lot, even though I'm in the business, and even though I know you're in the business, Dave. I use that a lot because it's a good lead-in for me to transition and turn the woman over to another woman. unless she's willing to talk to me on the spot. And that's how I started doing it, and blitzing people and talking to them. Now I've sort of changed. Because of our age, because like I said, I'm in my 50s, even though our wrap is our signature product, I use wow as my lead-in. And so I'll say, hey, I don't know if you know anything about have you ever heard about this product? It's called Wow. And what's Wow? And well, it stands for Wipe Out Wrinkles. And I go through this whole little stick about Wipe Out Wrinkles. I said, it's amazing how it works in 45 seconds. As a matter of fact, the next 45 seconds, I can show you how it will take away your wrinkles. As a matter of fact, I won't even tell you. I'll let your friends tell you. And so right on the spot, I'll open a package and I'll put it on them. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck am I doing? And I'm rubbing wow on some woman stranger's face. And her girlfriends and friends are the ones who say, oh my gosh, it's amazing, wow. And I'm all, exactly. And I did this just the other day to somebody. And she ended up calling up and becoming a loyal customer. And so the other thing, too, is once I go that, whenever I go anywhere, I drink them all the time. I drink them 2 or 3 times a day, but I drink good old greens. Not orange, because I'm a berry guy, but my wife is an orange guy. Orange gal. And so, but I drink berry greens all the time. That opens up a ton of conversations, too. What are you drinking? And I'll tell them what's greens, the servings of fruits and vegetables. I'll tell them all about that. And then I always carry a couple extra packets. Let them try one, and if I can, I'll have them try it right on the spot. I do that. But I believe in when I can, and every opportunity I can, I blitz. And then, of course, I share from that. I go into the wraps, and then I'll ask a question. And I always ask an open-ended question. So if you're into nutrition or health and wellness or whatever it may be, what area, what would you like to work on the most? And a lot of times, someone will say their belly, some will say their wrinkles, some will my health and heart, whatever, and all. Hey, we can handle all that. And so then I direct them to the website, or I pull out a product brochure on the spot, and I try to get a customer immediately if I can.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, you made a good point about, basically you're saying you're always ready to talk to people, and I know you always have blitz cards in your little cargo pocket there.
I cards, yeah, everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it. You made awesome points about how men are really being active and helping out in the business. Julio, you're up next. Why don't you just share with your thoughts on there's guys watching tonight and that are thinking about it, or maybe they're being skeptics, but from your story and from your experience within the business, and your wife just absolutely killing it. Why don't you just give us your thoughts, man?
Well, for sure. For any of the guys that are thinking about it, I would say just go for it. You know what I mean? Like, this is one life that you have, and in life, sometimes there are opportunities, and when that opportunity shows up, it's like, why not? What do you have to lose? What do you have to gain? And just compare those two things, and it's pretty straightforward right there. That's how I look at it. I'm kind of like a why not kind of guy. I like saying yes as opposed to no, because I think yes opens up more doors. For the guys that are like just kind of getting into it and they're more in a supportive role, but they haven't really gone past it yet, I feel like I've just started to outgrow that. For me, the most helpful thing was to get outside of my comfort zone and get over myself, because like I had pride holding me back, and I felt like if I put myself out there that I wouldn't, do it properly, or that I wouldn't be successful. And really, I was just scared of success and failure at the same time. Like, well, what is it really that's holding me back? And then I thought about it, and Jillian actually said something to me also that made a lot of sense. And it was like, who am I to hold this opportunity that has been so beneficial to our family from somebody else because of my own insecurity? Like, how lame is that? Honestly, it's like, this is a rad company that gives families, real life families. I'm a real life person. You know what I mean? Like, this company gives real life families that kind of opportunity. So like, if I go out there and blitz somebody or just leave a card somewhere, like, I don't know, that might change that person's life. You know what I mean? And like, I want to be able to help do that and promote that in the world, because I think it'll make the world a better place. So for me, that's like the first thing, is just to get over myself and get outside of my comfort zone and recognize that it's not about me, it's about the world, and it's about making the world a better place, and that this company can help people do that and can help families do that. So that's the first thing. And then once I realized that, that got me out of that space, and then I started moving forward with like a lot more momentum, right? And then from that point, the two other things that I wanted to bring up was second would be to be supportive of your partner. And support doesn't necessarily mean like, yeah, babe, you got this or whatever, but support means like, you know, emotionally being present. You know, if your partner needs something, to be there and do it. Like, hey, babe, you need some water, you need some coffee. Like, what can I do for you? Like, what can I help with? And that kind of stuff goes a long way too. So for me, that was a big one, is just doing my best to be supportive on any given day in whatever way that I could or can. And that's another thing that I think is really important for whatever kind of role you're in. But honestly, it's like being supportive of a partner makes a big difference. And the third thing was to remain positive. So, you know, it's really easy to get wrapped up in negativity and to kind of lose sight of that positive picture. But ultimately, having that positive sense of self internally and also externally just makes a huge difference. Having that positive perspective, it lines you up on positive paths. It puts you next to positive people. Even when negative stuff comes into your world, you're still able to view it with a positive perspective, and it makes such a huge difference. Like for me, it's the deal breaker. It's like, if I know that if my head's stuck in negativity and I start putting myself into that kind of mind frame, it affects not just the business but my whole life, and I'm not about that, you know. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good person and make the world a better place. And I know in order to do that, I need to be positive. So for me, those were the three things. And like those, like right now, that's basically my mission statement. You know, it's like, one is like get over myself and realize it's not about me. Two is to be supportive. And three is to be positive. And I'm just trying to keep that in my heart and in my actions. And for me, it's been very helpful. Not just with the business, but also just as a person. It's like I feel like I'm in the best health I've ever been in, physically and emotionally and spiritually, and I'm just really happy about that, and I'm grateful for it, and I want to help other people see that. So if there's anything that I can say right now to help another person see that and recognize that it is there, then that's all, you know, I want, and I hope that does happen. So yeah, that's what I have. Those are my things.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty inspiring to hear. Like you mentioned those, because really I've dealt with the same thing about being positive, and really getting over. And it's really, like you said, it's not about like your feelings. Like, are you letting your pride like stand in the way of maybe changing someone else's life or changing someone else's, you know, financial freedom, and really just getting over yourself and your own insecurities or fears, whatever you want to call it. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you for sharing that. Real quick, we're just going to finish up here in a couple minutes, and I don't know. I think that we have found success because we started off fast. We went to an event like in 3 weeks when we started. We jumped on a plane to Seattle, and we didn't know what the heck we're doing, but we did it anyways. And that really just brought us together, and we met like-minded people. We saw real people and real stories up in Seattle, and really that's when really I caught the vision 3 weeks into it in September, and you know, and I think I started taking responsibility. I started, you know, just doing the research and messaging people and talking to my friends, and like what you said, Julio, about, you know, at least just giving it a shot, and like if you screw up, like that's fine. Like you're gonna mess up eventually, right? Like that's how you learn. And so yeah, I just started getting involved and like helping out how I could, helping her out around the house. And I really think if I could leave you with two things, I think I've done two things along with, sounds like most of you guys. I gave it a shot. Like we tried. Like we put ourselves out there. We took a risk. You know, like we said, Julio, like, what do you got to lose? $99 to join, like, okay, just throw that on the credit card. I already got 10 grand on it, right? So what's $100? It's like, you know, interest for like a month. So yeah, so we gave it a shot, you know, and the second thing is really like we never gave up. It took me about 18 months is really when I got over like the whole giving up thing. I was like, there would be times and it would be down or up and down, and then it'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to do this, and then I would like back off. But I think after 18 months, I just went all in, and so if I leave you with two things, I think it's one, give it a shot. Like if you're thinking about it, just do it. Like just try it. Like just do it and see what happens. You know, like what if? They always talk about that. Like what if it works, right? And the second thing is never give up. I wouldn't be here today if I had given up, 20 months ago when I wanted to quit. And I wouldn't be here with all you guys. And I wouldn't be able to share the business with thousands of people in the future that I'm going to. So, yeah, I guess that's a wrap for tonight. I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining tonight. We're going to sign off right now. It's been 30 minutes. So I appreciate all you guys and your hard work. And let's take this thing to a whole nother level.